Imagine this, an entire civilization, more powerful, more advanced, more mysterious than anything the ancient world had ever seen, wiped out in a single day. No warning, no escape, no trace, except a story that refuses to die. Atlantis. Even the name feels heavy, ancient, almost forbidden. But here's the question no one can fully answer. What if Atlantis wasn't just a story? What if everything we think we know about it is only a small piece of something much bigger? Because the deeper you go into this mystery, the less it feels like a myth, and the more it feels like something we've forgotten. The origin of Atlantis comes from one man, Plato. Around 360 BCE, he wrote about Atlantis in two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. But this wasn't meant to be fantasy. Plato claimed the story came from older sources, Egyptian priests who told it to the Athenian lawmaker Solon, generations before him. According to this account, Atlantis existed around 9,000 years before Plato's time. Think about that. That would place it roughly around 9600 BCE, long before what we consider the beginning of advanced civilization. Long before cities, long before writing, long before history as we know it. And yet, Atlantis was described as a massive, organized, technologically advanced society. Its capital city was unlike anything in the ancient world, a series of concentric rings alternating between land and water, connected by bridges and canals. Ships could travel directly into the heart of the city. At the center stood a grand temple dedicated to Poseidon, covered in precious metals, including a mysterious material called orichalcum, said to shine like fire. The Atlanteans had powerful fleets, complex infrastructure, and a level of engineering that shouldn't have existed at that time. But their power didn't stop at architecture. They had influence, military dominance. They controlled vast territories, stretching across regions of Europe and Africa, until they became too powerful, too confident, too human. Plato describes a turning point. The Atlanteans, once noble and balanced, began to change. Greed took over. Power became their obsession. They lost the very qualities that made them great. And then came the end. Violent earthquakes, massive floods, the ground itself collapsing, and in what Plato describes as a single day and night, Atlantis sank beneath the ocean, gone forever. At least, that's the story. For centuries, scholars believed this was nothing more than a moral allegory, a warning about pride and corruption. But then, something strange happened. Pieces of the story started to line up with real-world events. One of the most compelling theories connects Atlantis to the ancient Minoan civilization centered on the island of Crete. The Minoans were incredibly advanced for their time. Sophisticated cities, plumbing systems, art, trade networks. And then, around 1600 BCE, disaster struck. The volcanic island of Thera, modern-day Santorini, exploded in one of the most powerful eruptions in human history. Ash filled the sky. Tsunamis crashed across the Mediterranean. Entire cities were buried. Civilizations collapsed. It was sudden, violent, devastating, almost exactly like Plato described. Could Atlantis be a memory of this event, a story passed down, distorted over time? It's possible, but there's a problem. The timeline doesn't match. Plato places Atlantis thousands of years earlier, and the scale he describes is much larger, which leads to another theory. What if Atlantis existed, but we've been looking in the wrong place? Some researchers believe it may lie beneath the Atlantic Ocean, near the Azores, or even deeper, hidden under layers of sediment. Others point to the Caribbean. Near the Bahamas, there's a formation known as the Bimini Road, massive stone blocks arranged in a straight line beneath the water. At first glance, it looks artificial, like a road or a wall, something built. Scientists argue it's a natural formation, beach rock fractured over time. But not everyone is convinced, because the shapes, the alignment, they feel intentional. And then there are even more controversial discoveries. Underwater structures off the coast of Japan, ancient ruins submerged near India, cities lost beneath rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age. Because here's something most people don't realize. Around 12,000 years ago, the Earth was very different. Massive ice sheets covered large parts of the planet. Sea levels were much lower. Entire regions that are now underwater were once land, habitable land. If a civilization existed during that time, we wouldn't find it easily today. It would be buried, hidden beneath kilometers of water and sediment, almost impossible to detect. And yet, there are hints. Ancient myths from around the world all tell similar stories: a great flood, a lost world, a civilization destroyed. In Mesopotamia, there's the Epic of Gilgamesh. In the Bible, the story of Noah. In India, the tale of Manu. In the Americas, legends of great floods wiping out entire peoples. Different cultures, different continents, same memory. It's as if humanity is remembering something, but only in fragments. So what if Atlantis is one of those fragments, a distorted echo of a real civilization, lost to time? But there's another possibility, one that's even more unsettling. What if Atlantis was not just advanced, but advanced in ways we don't fully understand? Some theories suggest technologies far beyond what we associate with the ancient world. Energy systems, unknown materials, knowledge that was lost or deliberately erased. There's no solid proof for this, but the idea persists, because the mystery remains unsolved, and humans don't like unsolved mysteries. But maybe the most important part of the Atlantis story isn't where it was, or even if it existed. It's why it disappeared. Because in every version of the story, there's a pattern: rise, power, corruption, collapse. And that pattern feels familiar. Today, we live in the most advanced civilization in history. We've mastered technology, we've connected the world, we've pushed the boundaries of what's possible. But we're also fragile, more than we like to admit. Rising sea levels, climate shifts, natural disasters increasing in intensity, global tensions, systems that depend on stability in an unstable world. If something massive happened, something sudden, how prepared would we really be? Atlantis might not just be a story about the past. It might be a mirror, a warning, a reminder that no matter how advanced a civilization becomes, it's never invincible. So what really happened to Atlantis? Was it a real place, swallowed by the ocean? A memory of a forgotten disaster? A myth created to teach a lesson? Or something even stranger, something we're not ready to understand yet? Maybe the truth is still out there, hidden beneath the waves, waiting, and maybe one day we'll find it. Or maybe we'll repeat it.
Follow for more videos like this.